Alrighty guys, so on today's episode, this is going to be a little different because I'm going to do an open talk on my tech show. And normally when I do open talk, it is very opinion based, so don't get mad at me if this is something that bothers you. But in today's episode, we're going to take a look and talk about the Samsung One UI 5.0 update that is slowly rolling out. And I'm going to talk to you guys for a little bit and say why I'm starting to gain more respect for Samsung as they go along. And I'm going to show off some of the obvious points, but I just want to take this moment to talk about it. So let's get it going. So the first story, the main story, and really the thing we're going to talk about is the Samsung One UI 5.0. Now, I have been following Samsung for the longest of time, just about as long as Apple if I think about it, and I actually really respect Samsung a lot these days, especially with the initiatives that they're taking, especially with the risks and the things that they're trying to do. Now, before anybody watches this video and gets mad at what I'm about to say, first of all, I could give two shits less what you think, and number two, here's my iPhone. So, iPhone user, talking about Samsung. Don't get mad at me about that. But anyway, here's the thing though. During the process of Samsung taking big initiatives and big steps towards the Android game, a lot of people over the years have talked about the competition, with OnePlus reportedly, supposedly supposed to be somewhere in there, but I doubt that. Google, which is now starting to gain some attraction, and also some other third-party manufacturers starting to get their hat into the bag. But with that all being said, very few of these companies are willing to take an initiative to really try to craft the software. And that is where Samsung comes in. Because here's the thing. I, for one, have always admired Samsung's handling of innovative technology. The thing that they used to suck the most was software updates. It was publicly recorded from everybody that Samsung's updates were terrible. But recently with the One UI 2.0, 3.0, and 4, so on and so forth, they seem to have finally got a grasp of supporting these devices. But the biggest thing, and the reason why I want to make this video, is with One UI 5.0, granted it does not support the S10 and the Note 10, it does still, however, support 2019 models, and with reports now saying that Samsung is upping the software updates for the newer models coming out in 2022 to now 5 years of software support and an additional 2 years of security patches. That's almost on point with what exactly Apple is doing. And with One UI 5.0 and with reports from users and also feedback and others, we're now seeing that Samsung is taking an initiative to not only optimize the software, but to make it feel more premium. And I will say this for the record. I just want to put this out there. I have used Android 13 with the Google Pixel 6a, which is currently charging right over here. I have used it, I updated it, and to be quite honest with you, it was, it just felt like an update. It was just an update. Now, the thing that Samsung has done with the One UI 5.0 has continued to work on the minimalization, but also giving it a tweak in its overall presentation. And one of the cool things about the One UI 5.0 is that this design with Android 13 not only integrates more changes and relocations, but also makes power shortcuts within the quick settings menu. And also, it does give you a nice boost if we're seeing smoother animations, features, and others. Now, we already know Apple has a hand with iOS doing that with simplicity and others. So I really admire Samsung trying to go into this route. And with One UI 5.0, seeing some of the videos, seeing some of the things that we're seeing with this update, I'm here to tell you guys that my respect for Samsung just keeps going up, because they want to take an initiative to offer long-term value, which is something that the competition is still sorely lacking in. Take Google, for example. Now, I'm not saying Google's doing anything bad. They are the makers of Android, and they've got it going with the Tensor chip and the optimization with the hardware and software. But the one thing that they lacked key in, and they're still supposedly doing, I've got to do some more research with the Tensor second generation chip. But with that being said though, the biggest thing that is everybody talking about is that it only will offer 3 years of software support and then the additional 2 years of security patches. Whereas with Samsung, they're going all in on 5 years with a reported 2 years of security. So you're gonna get 5 OS upgrades if you buy a current model. Now, your older model phones like the S20 and the S21 will still get 4 years of support, which is plenty, considering that the S20 and the S21 and the Note 20 and Note 20 Ultras they're almost 4 years old now, so they're getting their 4th year. So that is impressive on its own. And now seeing that Samsung wants to make it 5 years with these newer models, and now kicking it off with One UI 5.0, it brings the game to a whole other realm. Look at OnePlus. Well, you know what? Actually, let's not look at OnePlus. Let's look at Apple. That's their biggest competition. They are the ones they're going after, trying to offer the long-term support, the long-term value, etc. Now, I will say that this is just all opinion-based. This is not a factual video. I'm just giving you what I've seen, giving what I've used, because my Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 4 and Flip 4 will be getting the One UI update. But I'm gonna sit here and tell you guys from my own personal opinion, in my own professional years of YouTube and using these things, if there is one manufacturer that I have gotten a lot more respect for, it's Samsung, because they are finally understanding and getting right what a lot of Android manufacturers will not or just simply don't want to do. And that's to take the initiative to push forward, to the initiative to want to deliver high value. Now, I'm not saying that all companies don't want to do that, but Samsung seems to be the only one that wants to be the leader in this game. And it makes a lot of sense since they're pretty much just making everything nowadays. So with the One UI 5.0, we're gonna get more of what we see with iOS, with smoother animations, more features, quick features, new notification tabs, all that stuff. But I wanna ask you guys, to anybody that is using Samsung One UI 5.0, what are your thoughts on it, and what are your thoughts on everything that I've said so far? If you disagree, listen, I'm not here to argue with you, that's fine. If you agree, let me hear your thoughts. And if you disagree, you're more than welcome to put it in the comments. But I will say this, and then I'm gonna wrap up the video. I used to make fun of Samsung. I used to do a lot of things because I was young and stupid. But after using the Note 10 Plus and then keep using Android and also using iOS at the same time, I find myself enjoying what Samsung brings to the table. And I would say here, right now, that Samsung is the only Android manufacturer that is taking an initiative to try to get to that level where iOS is for Apple users. Now, if we could get the update timings correct, that would be nice, but one step at a time. But for now, Samsung One UI 5.0 is rolling out, and Samsung has got more respect.